If you've been anywhere near Family Life since last October, you have been hearing me go on and on about this idea for our church, for our future home that we've had that we're calling the living room. Well, I am very pleased to say that thanks to your generous giving, we are in a position to actually make this God-given dream come true. So I want to give you a few updates to get you up to speed on where we are at when it comes to our new church building. The first question is, where is this building? And that is at 362 Schmalley Road, which is only 1.5 miles from where we currently meet for Family Life. This building, with a few modifications, is the perfect space for us to fulfill this vision. Second, what will it look like? Well, I like to think of this building in 3 parts, and the first part is the warehouse. Now, this is where Family Life Christian Center will gather, our new worship space. In this space, we're thinking we can fit somewhere between 100 to 150 chairs, which means that we can host about double the amount of people that we currently do on a Sunday. We want to build a stage, hang some lights, and really get creative and intentional with how we worship. We're also hoping in this space that we can host corporate events, parties, and even small theater productions. The middle space of this building is what we're considering our office and youth space. Now, this is where our staff is going to get things done. We're also hoping we can have a video and audio studio to create content not just for our local community, but the whole world. We also have some super fun ideas for our youth spaces and how we can make those cool, intentional, fun spaces for our kids. And the street-facing side of the building is what we're considering the living room. This is where our church and the community meet. We want to have a top-notch espresso bar as well as fresh baked goods and snacks where people can just come and be together and gather all week long. From having a co-working space to TED Talk type events and even game nights and fun things like that, we want Carol Stream to view this as a place where people come and have a great time. And lastly, how close are we to getting into this building? And that's a good question. The answer to that changes by the day these days, but we are well into our purchase agreement. We're well into pursuing our lending options to be able to financially afford it, and well into our application period with the Village of Carol Stream to get permission to use it. And thanks to you and your generosity, we currently have enough money to get into the space, as well as do some of those initial renovations to bring the building up to code and useful for how we want to use the space. Now, here's where things get interesting. With the money we have raised, we can get into the building and we can do those initial renovations to make the space usable. But with another, let's say $700,000, we could purchase the building cash, own it, and that would free up about an extra $4,000 to $5,000 a month that the church could just invest right back into the people and the kingdom and whatever else God is calling us to. But with another $700,000, we could fully renovate the living room. I'm talking all windows on the front of the building, a magnificently crafted interior, an expanded menu at the living room cafe, and intentionally crafted seating areas, beautifully designed, where every person driving by can look through those windows and say, I want to know what's going on in there. So while we are well on our way to getting into this space and beginning to fulfill this vision that God has called us to, there's still a couple things that you can do to help us. Number 1 is to pray. Pray for favor with the Village of Carol Stream. Pray that we get the best contractors and professionals and vendors to help us fulfill this thing, and pray for a supernaturally blessed process from start to finish. And number 2 is to give. We truly believe God has called us to this vision, and we truly believe that He will provide everything we need to fulfill it, but He may want to do that through you. Pray about that. Ask God if He wants you to partner with us in seeing this vision come to pass. One thing we are sure of is that this building is going to be a blessing, a God-given safe haven for our community for years, maybe even decades to come. By blessing our community, by inviting in believers and unbelievers alike, and by authentically pursuing the fullness of Christ together, Family Life will be leaping into the future that God has for this church. So let's do it! What are you waiting for? Pray, give, and let's make this thing happen.